Kia ora, New Zealand. I'm Philip Duncan. Thanks very much for joining us. Well, across the country, we're tracking some pretty calm weather for today, but it's about to change for Wednesday. Wind and rain on the way for New Zealand. But we kick off today's video with what's going on over in Melbourne for the Melbourne Cup. There is a cold front rushing in with big strong winds and another area of rain that's drifting down from the warm central part of Australia. The two are going to merge around Melbourne later today, and there's a chance of some very heavy downpours and isolated thunderstorms as well. So it could be a bit of a, how do we call it, spicy afternoon weather-wise around Melbourne. But around New Zealand, things are pretty quiet for now. It does change on Wednesday as this windy nor'wester comes on in. But as for Tuesday, not a lot of life going on. A bit of cloud around Western New Zealand and those nor'westers, still a bit breezy around Cook Strait. But this is how Wednesday is shaping up, and it's the beginning of a few days of kind of windy, wet weather for some regions. So that's the front that's just come out of Australia, which is arriving there today. So by Wednesday, it's out over around Sydney, coming out to the Tasman Sea. Doesn't have a lot of energy for New Zealand, but it just adds more to what is building up here on the west coast, which is at least 3 days of very heavy rain for you. The winds are going to pick up as well. They are both Australian and subtropical as they come down across a large portion of New Zealand, which means Wednesday starts to get pretty warm in the east of both islands. Getting up to the 30-degree mark is possible in some pockets. Most of you will be in the mid to late 20s. Hopefully anyway, because I think some of you are asking us, we want some nice hot weather. So this is how it looks on Thursday. That rain pretty intense on the west coast. Watch for rain warnings as a result of that rain. Further north, big strong northwesterlies. There'll be gale force in some exposed areas of the upper South Island and around Cook Strait, and just a few showers for the north. Warm subtropical nor'westers means that it's going to be pretty hot around eastern parts of the North Island and the upper northeastern corner of the South Island. Lots of directions in there when we name our islands north and south. Makes it even more confusing when you have Southland, Northland, Eastland and Westland, trust me. All right, let's get to Friday. We've got rain developing around the west coast, heavy falls. It spills over to Canterbury and to Marlborough, which is a pretty positive forecast. But the North Island doesn't get a lot, although I have to say, it's got a little bit more than we were seeing yesterday. So perhaps a little bit of wet weather coming into the North Island on Friday. By Saturday, though, most of it has gone. That low has moved out, and the air pressure is actually a little bit low around the South Island, but really we've got high pressure rolling on in. And then we end on Sunday. High pressure dominates both sides of New Zealand, maybe a couple of afternoon showers that bubble up. Otherwise, a fairly calm weekend on the way. So we've got a bit of wind and rain for the next couple of days around New Zealand. Obviously, we've got those downpours coming to Melbourne this afternoon. But before I go, I wanted to touch on the midterm elections because I'm a big politics geek. And the midterm elections are going to be huge tomorrow. A lot of voting's already gone ahead. But look at the forecast. Most of America is dry and sunny. That bodes well for a higher voter turnout. Bit of a storm up here around Canada, which will spill over into parts of America, but hopefully it's going to be a pretty good day to get people out to vote, and the weather around Alaska and Hawaii also looks pretty good. So that is all from me. Enjoy whatever you enjoy. Melbourne Cup, Guy Fawkes, which seems to go for the next 3 months, and the midterms in America, and obviously this weekend in New Zealand, the weather is looking a lot more settled than it has for the last weekend or two. So that is all from me. We'll catch you again on Wednesday.